Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. I say this every time in the exact same way, but whatever. Welcome to my channel. My name's Adriana, and if you like my content, please subscribe. All right. So, if this is your first time watching this series, I highly recommend you start with part 1 because it's a pretty detailed story, but there are like brief synopses. I don't know. Synopsises at the start of each story. So do what you want to do. But this is part 5 of the No Sleep story. My romantic cabin getaway is not going as expected. And then subtitle of that, ever since the cabin experience, my fiance has been scaring me. Okay. All right. I need to take a sip of water really quick. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit nervous about this one. I have a feeling my intuition is telling me that this one is going to be freaky. So let's get ready. It's 12:38 where I am right now too. So it's the middle of the night. Crazy for doing this at this time, but let's do it anyways. Okay. So you don't have to read all of these former posts if you're new to my situation, is what it says. All you need to know is that 1, my fiance Faye has a sleep disorder and has been sleepwalking, having night terrors and other frightening sleep disturbances since she was a child. We've been together for 5 years. We recently stayed at a cabin her parents own way up in the mountains in Colorado, whereupon we discovered an enormous handmade dream catcher in the woods out back and began hearing creepy voices at night that mimicked people we knew, including family members who are dead. My fiance's sleep disturbances got out of control during our stay, and she appeared to be communicating with the things outside at night. Now we are back home in California, but something might have followed us. I took Faye to see her doctor yesterday, and we hesitantly explained what was going on with her. I left out the paranormal stuff because I didn't want to get put in a ward. I thought it said I didn't want her to get put in a ward. She seemed really concerned about Faye, ordered a blood test, gave her a physical, asked her about diet and drugs, medications, etc. Faye and I are both non-drinkers, non-drug users, and neither of us are on medication. She wants Faye to be evaluated by a psychiatrist next week. For now, she gave her a sedative at night and some anti-anxiety medication. She wants us to get some fresh air and get out of the house. So we're going on a hike today. Just not in Colorado, though. Right. A Redditor named Pixie Dicks. Okay, really? That's Pixie. Fuck. Redditor named Pixie Dicks. Pixiedix. Wow, okay, that's great. A Redditor named Pixie Dicks brought up the possibility that a child's voice outside the cabin was asking, "When do we go inside? When do we go inside?" Might not refer to inside the cabin, but rather inside Faye. This really worries me because it corroborates some of the strange behavior she's been exhibiting in her sleep. I contacted the park ranger, who is pretty sympathetic to our situation, and he's going to get in touch with some of the members of his tribe who have experience with spiritual guidance and medicine. He's convinced that Faye and I have attracted the attention of the ones who come out of the mines. Lucky us. More on that later. Some Redditors have recommended that I test Faye to see if it's really her. So yesterday evening, against my wallet's advice, I took her to her favorite steakhouse. I only ever order one meal there, medium tri-tip, house macaroni and cheese, and a bottled root beer. Faye only ever orders one meal there too. The barbecue chicken sandwich with mac and cheese and a salad and ranch dressing, and a Coke. She drinks Coke only. Her blood is mostly Coca-Cola. Oh gosh, okay. Faye took a long time deciding what to order and ended up ordering a fucking New York strip. I jokingly told her to order for me too, and she said, I don't know what you want. She also ordered water instead of Coke. Usually we have arguments over how much Coke she drinks and how I'm always trying to get her to hydrate better and just drink water. This was really unsettling to me. At the end of the night, we were walking back to my car. I kissed her temple and asked if she still liked it when I called her Noodle. She said, of course. I've never called her Noodle in my entire life. Her nickname has always been Monkey Toes. Long story. Once we got home, she cracked open a Coke and got on Facebook, which is completely normal for her. This threw me off. I wonder if their home is... I wonder if it happens when she leaves the house. I have read this story before, but it's been a really, really, really long time, so I don't remember all the specifics, so I'm not giving it away. Anyways, that's just where my brain went. Okay, so one thing that's been on my mind lately is a song the little kid was singing outside the cabin. For those of you who don't know, in the middle of the night at this cabin in Colorado, we heard a child's voice coming out of the forest singing an eerie song. I've been catching myself humming it almost every day. Ooh, so me I do. I asked Faye if it meant anything to her, and I sang it to her while she was sitting on the couch. After a few repetitions, she sort of went blank, like she was hypnotized, and just wobbled back and forth ever so slightly for about 8 seconds, then snapped out of it and said, I don't remember that. Last night is when the shit hit the fan. I haven't gotten a full night's sleep in over a week now, and it's starting to make me feel over-emotional and crazy. Faye started murmuring in her sleep around 1, as usual, but I couldn't understand much of it. She sat up in her bed, took the sheets off her legs like she was going to get up, but I grabbed her arm and asked her what she was doing. She said, tell them to leave. Her eyes were completely shut. I asked her, Who needs to leave? She sat there for about 2 minutes not speaking, just sitting straight up. I asked again, and she replied, there's a man at the door. Then about 10 seconds later, and a woman at the bottom of the stairs. Of course, this made every single hair on my entire body bristle. I got up and went downstairs, turning on every single light as I went, and carried my buck knife with me. Nobody was in our house. I looked in every single room downstairs and even in the backyard. When I got back to the stairwell, I heard someone stomping around upstairs. Someone had turned the light to the upstairs hallway off. I stood at the bottom of the stairs looking up, trying to listen, but the noises stopped. So I walked back up into our bedroom and got back into bed. It was likely that Faye had gotten up to go to the bathroom or sleepwalked a bit in the room and went back to bed. Oh man, this is crazy. Okay, I fell asleep pretty fast, but woke up again only a few minutes later. Oops, I almost knocked my water over. Faye was gone. No. Okay, goodness. I heard movement down the hall, so I looked out into it and saw Faye coming out of the other bedroom. She staggered down the hall toward me, then stopped, turned around, and walked back in the other direction. She did this 7 to 8 times. She was walking in almost the same way as the night before, standing really high up on her toes, her legs totally rigid like they were made of cement, and her arms completely limp and flopping back and forth. It was extremely fucking terrifying seeing her move like that. She was totally graceless. It was like someone was testing out a human body for the first time. At that same moment, I heard a noise through the bedroom window and ran over to check, thinking someone was really at the front door. You can see down at the front entryway from our bedroom window. Off in the distance, about 30 yards out, somebody was walking back and forth in the exact same way that Faye was. He was humming loudly and intermittently singing. The song sounded like the one I sang to Faye earlier, the one the child sang outside the cabin. Basically, I ran back into the hall, woke Faye up, and brought her downstairs. I opened the front door to get a better look at the man, but he was gone. Today, at the behest of a few Redditors, I asked Faye if she'd ever been to that cabin before we visited it. Okay, I don't know why I never thought to ask her this before. She said nothing about it when we stayed there for several nights. She was hesitant to answer me and eventually admitted that she'd been there once when she was 14. She and her parents went snowshoeing up the mountain. A few hours later, I emailed her mother and asked the same question. She told me Faye had gone to the cabin multiple times as a child, but stopped going when she went into high school. I can't figure out which one of them is lying to me. Because so many people have questions about Faye, she has agreed to do a filmed interview. If you post questions for her, I will film her responses and post them here within a few days. I haven't told Faye this, but I'm thinking of going back to the cabin and meeting with the ranger. He wants to do some ritual with the dream catcher we found, if it's still there, and he says he will bring his friends to try to cleanse the house and the surrounding area. This might cost me like $500 just to fly out there, but if this shit gets any worse, it might be worth it. And then it says, edit in bold. A Redditor sent me a private message telling me to investigate the guest room to see if Faye was doing anything in there. It turns out she was. She had written the number 5 on the window with her finger. I only saw it because of the condensation from the cold this afternoon. It's written backwards so that someone standing in her backyard can read it. Oh wow, I don't know if I'm gonna sleep tonight, guys. Guess I gotta watch some ASMR. I think that one was probably the scariest one. What do you guys think? That one was freaky. Oh. What do you guys think the number 5 means? I think I might remember, so I'm not gonna say. So I'm curious what you guys think. Alright, well, I'm gonna go distract myself from this story, because this was freaky deaky. But no, it's always a really fun time to read. I enjoy it, and those of you who have continued watching, thank you. And get ready for part 6 soon, okay? Alright, I'll see you